It says I'm live. What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Welcome. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in forever. It's really only been, 2 weeks since we've been on YouTube, but I was unable to do the live stream last week. So, feels like it's been a long time. What's going on? Give everybody a few minutes to kind of hop on in here. We'll hang out for a bit. We got some hot coffee going on today. How you guys doing? I'm just kind of getting comfortable here. Getting ready to settle in for the long haul. My seat's wobbly. What's up with that? It's gonna probably kick me right off of here. Oh. What's going on? What's up? Welcome to the Wednesday Live. YouTube Wednesday Live. You guys, did you see that little dust thing? I got dust all over me. That's no wonder. Been out here working for a little while this morning, trying to get a couple things done, and so I got a little dusty early on this morning. No big deal. Got to tackle things early sometimes. Try to get ahead on some stuff. So that's what I'm doing right now. Well, not right now. Right now I'm just gonna hang out with you guys. John is here. Hi from Houston. Hello, John. Hi from Colorado. How's it going, John? How's everything in Houston for you this morning? Are you getting cooler weather? I think Texas is typically really hot, but I imagine in the fall it probably cools off some, but I don't know. I've never been there. That's good stuff. Mr. Doughboy's here. Hello from snowy Maine. Woo! You finally got some snow going on up there, huh? How much snow did you end up getting up there? I typically, when I think of Maine, I think snow in the wintertime. I think a lot of snow. Maine is actually one of the states that I could live in, I think. I've never been there, but everything I've seen, it looks like an amazing place to live. And I would love it if there was a lot of snow, because something I haven't done in a lot of years is ride a snowmobile. I love riding snowmobile, and here we get snow up in the mountains in Colorado, but not so much really where I live. I live kind of on the high plains, I guess that's what they call it, and we get snow and cold, but we don't typically get a lot of snow all at the same time, and it doesn't stick around. So to have a snowmobile here, to me, doesn't make sense. A lot of people have them and they haul them up to the mountains, which to me, I'm not interested in that. It just doesn't sound appealing to me. I would love to go up there and ride them, but to own one and have to haul it, I'd rather just be able to go out and hop on the sled and take off. So what I see here, 3 inches. 3 inches. Oh, John in Houston says it's cold. It's cold in Houston. Mr. Doughboy, lots of snowmobile trails. I can imagine there's a lot of them. Before I moved to Colorado, I lived in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I've never lived in a big city. I've always lived in a rural area. Actually, where I live right now is probably the most city. It's not really a city, but there is a major road that is right next to my house, pretty much. But where I grew up in Pennsylvania is very country, very in the woods, and lots of fields and forests and all that stuff. So I'm used to be able to walk out of the house, basically hop on a dirt bike, hop on a four-wheeler, snowmobile, whatever it is, and just go ride, and without even really hitting the road. So that sounds cool. I'd like to get to Maine sometime. John says, what new doing in the shop? Well, I am right now. I've been working really hard all through the weekend. I had some time over the weekend trying to get some smaller projects done, some videos edited, uploaded, and scheduled, which I was able to do. I think I did about 4 videos in the last 5 days or so, edited, uploaded, and all that sort of thing. So right now I'm in a good spot. I'm spending some time working on this guitar neck. It's been on the side burner for quite a long time, and I got to get back to it. But what I've been doing this morning, I hope. It's cutting out. Can you believe that? It's not cool. Sorry about that, guys. We are going to do Wi-Fi hotspot here. We're going to try this. I'm going to try it anyway. Mobile hotspot. Hang on here. Yeah, I know it froze up. Let's see here. Carrie. Carrie, what's up, Carrie? Good morning. Cold in Maryland, 31. Carrie says I froze up. Yeah, I'm trying to take care of that. Harry Dude's here. What is up, brother? How are you? How's things over there? In the land of Oz. Did I get that right? Let's see. Let's see here. XK Tree 72. Hello from San Diego, where it's a bone-chilling 50 degrees. Bone-chilling? I can imagine San Diego probably is. We're about that right now. We're in the 50s. Right around 50, 52, and it feels really nice. Of course, we did have a few days of just the teens, so 50 degrees, I'll take it. Mr. Doughboy, I grew up in Salem, Massachusetts. Can't do any of that stuff there. Oh, the snowmobiles and dirt bikes and all that stuff. Yeah, I can imagine. Salem, I'm not familiar with. Never been there, but I know it's city, right? So I can imagine. Let's see. We're going to mobile. Trying to solve this little connection issue here for you. And now we got that. Sorry, I'll get back to this jig here in a second, guys. Hang on here. Let's go to this. All right. It says I'm live. Carrie says, still looking for that shop tour. Well, we talked about that before, didn't we? I'm going to set my phone over here where it gets a good signal. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Don't run off, guys. Don't run off. Stay there. Stay with me. Stay with me. All right. We did talk about that before, shop tour, and I said I was going to try to maybe do something. Yeah, that one, I think I explained it before. Yeah, you're basically seeing my whole shop. But I'm okay. I'm okay sharing that stuff. I just have to get around to making that video. Gina's here. Gina says, "Hi all. Hi everybody." She says there's quite a delay. Yeah, we've already had a little bit of connection issue. So I don't know what's going on. I've switched it already over to mobile hotspot. I don't know what's up. Wi-Fi. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. What are you guys all up to today? Let me know. Harry Dude, how are things going for you down your way? Hopefully everything is well. Andrew is not going to be joining us today. We messaged each other a few minutes, well, probably an hour ago, and he mentioned that it's later than I normally go on. So, Harry Dude, you tell me if is it later there? Because we had daylight savings time, and that's the only thing I could figure that would make it later for you. Maybe you guys don't have it. I don't know. I was trying to figure that out, but Andrew and I were messaging each other back and forth just for a few. But let me know. Does that mess you? Does that mess you guys up? Like when I change or when we change, you guys don't change? I don't know how that works. Giovanni, hey, good evening. Giovanni, what time is it there? I need a couple of things I'm going to have to print out and hang up somewhere where I can see it. I'm going to have to print out um, a temperature conversion chart and also a time zone map. I'm going to do that. Maybe there's a spot right over here to the side where I could just put one over there. I might have to do that just so I can kind of be more in tune with where you guys are. Anybody in the U.S. mostly, I know where everybody is. I mean, I know where the time zones are. But if you're outside the U.S. and it could be just outside the U.S. or a long ways outside the U.S., I don't know what time zone everybody's in. So I might have to do that. Harry Dude says, "Oh, the irony. We've already had some connection-ish." Yes, it is irony. It's terrible. It's terrible. Gina says, "Mapping electric lines. Fun stuff. Cool. You don't have to play with electric lines, so you don't get shocked." Kathleen is here. Hey, Jeff. How's it doing? Kathleen, I am doing well, thank you. How are you doing? Glad you're able to make it on in here. Hang out for a while. Russell, good morning. Good morning, Russell. How are you? Carrie says it's 11:12 in Maryland. Yep, that is one, I'm familiar with the Eastern time zone because, well, that's where I grew up. Giovanni says it's 11:11 and very cold. Ooh, do you have snow? Did you get any snow over there? Giovanni, 17:12. Yeah, I'm familiar with the for our time. Sorry, no need to apologize, Giovanni. It's all good. XK Tree 72. I'm building a cabinet for the bathroom remodel I'm doing. Nice. You're building like a vanity kind of cabinet? That sounds cool. I've thought about doing something like that. Building at least building a vanity would be kind of cool. Haven't done a whole lot of cabinet making. I have spent quite a bit of time working on cabinets. It was a long time ago, but I haven't done a whole lot of them on my own, like building my own cabinets and stuff. I don't know. I think I might have got burnt out on those a long time ago, but poor conservatives here. Good morning, kids. Good morning to you. Harry Dude, 3:13 a.m. Thursday morning, 12 degrees. It's 54 degrees Fahrenheit is 12 degrees Celsius. I got to do that. I got to print off a couple conversion charts. That would help me out a lot. XK Tree, single sink vanity. Yeah, I have one like that. In our bathroom is just a small bathroom, and it just has a little single sink vanity. And I've thought about like building something like that. It'd be kind of fun. Giovanni says, "Okay, now why don't you take the guitar and play something live?" Oh, I don't have a guitar out here in the shop. The closest I have is this neck, which doesn't really do me any good because it is not ready yet. And for those of you that didn't see it, I put out a vlog on Monday. Monday, where if you haven't seen those episodes, when I have stuff going on that I think could be interesting for you guys, I'm trying to put together some vlog episodes that I'll release earlier in the week before my regular project video. And this past Monday, I released one where a friend of mine and I were invited to do some acoustic music at a local farm. They were doing like a harvest festival. It actually was really cool. It kind of got cold towards the end, but it was really fun. There's a local farm that they do like all, I want to say off grid because it's all like solar panels and that sort of thing, like organic and a lot of fruits, vegetables, that sort of thing. But they were doing like a fall harvest festival, and it ended up being like a potluck, and everybody brought something, and they had fire pits, and it was actually really cool. But my friend and I, Alex, were we were just playing some acoustic songs, and I put some clips of that. That was kind of what the vlog was based around. So if you haven't seen that, it's on my YouTube channel. Just go back and look at the video that came out on Monday. Um, you'll see it right away. But that's what Giovanni's referring to. It was really fun. I had an awesome time, just hanging out, playing some music, and we had a good time. But the vlog covered. We did a rehearsal on Friday. Just he and I got together, went through our list. Saturday I had a whole bunch of stuff around the house to do, like getting our vehicles ready for the bad upcoming winter weather, and that sort of thing. And then I was getting getting things around for the acoustic show. And then Sunday was the show. So check out the vlog if you haven't seen it. Those are kind of fun to put together. And I've got another one I'm going to be working on this weekend. I've got some stuff going on, and some stuff I'm going to be working on. I'm going to put one together based around that, and we'll see how it goes. I won't be able to show. There's a few things I won't be able to show because of what we're going to be doing, but I'm going to be doing some work for a company, doing some kind of maintenance kind of work. But I'm going to probably put a vlog together around that. It's pretty much going to be my whole entire Saturday. Kathleen says, Jeff, trying to decide on a bench top that is going to be outdoors year-round. Don't have a shop. A single slab is not an option. Too heavy for me. Any suggestions? So you want a workbench that's going to live outside year-round. I think what I would do, honestly, well, it's a workbench, and you just want a top, right? Was that a top? A bench top, yes. It's going to live outside. I'd almost go with either, I'm hesitant to say pressure treated, but I think it would work pretty well because it's usually really wet. So as it dries, you might get some warpage. You might try something like a redwood, or cedar, maybe a cedar. I know redwood and cedar are rot resistant and they hold up pretty well outside. If you put it together, if you had to glue it up with, could use like a Tight Bond 3. To keep it up together. Let's see. Oh, the comment from Giovanni. I'm coming back to you, Giovanni. Hang on here. I saw another one from Kathleen. A workbench with storage. Carrie says pressure treated 2x6. That was my first thought, Kathleen, was 2x6s. What I'm afraid of is they're going to warp really bad as they dry out. That's the concern that comes to mind right away, because usually a pressure treated is pretty wet, but it's going to hold up pretty well. I'd almost think I'd look at like a redwood or a cedar. Cedar's pretty light too, so that might be a good option for you. Poor Conservative says cedar lamb. Yes, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Harry Dude says, would marine grade ply work? I'm not overly familiar with it myself. I think it could. I'd almost want to stick with solid wood. Marine grade is pretty good stuff though, and it's made to hold up in water. I mean, marine grade, right? I still go back to like the redwood or a cedar, or possibly pressure treated. Maybe here's something to consider. If you bought pressure treated, instead of taking, this is a miniature example. Instead of taking, let's say this was a pressure treated 2x10, what if you ripped it into, I don't know, 2-inch wide strips and flipped it all on end and glued it up that way? I think that could work. Of course, wow, look at that. That's like perfectly quartered. This side's not, but if you just cut it into strips, that might be an option too. You might do that with the redwood as well. Laminate it up. That way it's not going to warp this way because cut it into smaller strips, and you've glued it all up. Kind of like a butcher block countertop where they have a whole bunch of strips. Loud. Something like that might work, especially a cedar. Cedar would be fairly light, I believe, and I think that might be a good option for you. As you mentioned, you didn't want it too heavy. Look at cedar. See what you can find. It's not super durable. You know, if you hit it with something, it's going to dent. But yeah, depending on how concerned you are with that, I mean, it's a workbench. I personally wouldn't worry about it, but you could put a nice, maybe an epoxy kind of top on it. You know, that pour over kind of epoxy finish of some sort if you wanted it a little more durable. But I think that's, after kind of talking through that a little bit, I think cedar was what I'd be looking at if you want to keep the weight down. Back to Giovanni's comment here. Giovanni said, and the rest, where is it finished? Oh, the rest of the video you talking about? Is that what you mean? Russell says, well, reel is over. Y'all have a good day. Russell, thanks for stopping by, buddy. Appreciate it. Cedar, redwood. Poor Conservative says redwood is super light, easy to handle. Yeah, redwood is too, as well. Carrie says if you watch which way the rings are, yes, that will help avoid the warpage. But I mean, if you just wanted to throw something together, Kathleen, you could just take 2x6s, 2x8s, whatever, slap it down, and it's going to work for a while before it really starts to warp. And if you do watch where the way the rings are, it may not warp that bad at all anyway. Try to find some that is more of a, I don't know if you're going to, you guys ever seen a quarter sawn 2x? That'd be rare, right? You might be able to. So if you don't know, let's see if I can get that to focus in. You know, if you, it's not focusing exactly. Back here. Quarter sawn is where your growth rings on the end of the board are just like this end. That's not quite perfect, but it's a little bit of an angle. If you find some that's quarter sawn that's supposed to be more stable, or flat sawn, which is where your rings go this way. A lot of 2x stuff that I see is kind of has, you know, it has a lot of the curves in there, and that's where you get your warping from. But I've never really looked to see if I could find like a quarter sawn or a completely flat sawn. But I think though, if you could, that would be a lot better than the ones that have the big curly, the big curly rings in there. They'd probably work out a lot better, a lot more stable. Kathleen says, appreciate all the help, folks. Really helped. Cool. I'm glad. Hopefully that gave you some ideas anyway. Something to look at. Maybe you could go to the lumber store and just grab some boards. You know, grab a couple redwood boards. See what kind of weight it has compared to a cedar or compared to a pressure treated. I mean, I know pressure treated is kind of hefty sometimes, but check it out. Just go in there and spend some time and look around and look at some marine grade ply. And I mean, I've never priced it like a whole sheet. Don't know how much you need, but. All right, let's see. So yeah, let's go back to this. I was talking earlier about the jig that I'm working on in the shop because somebody asked what I was working on today. I'm working on some fine tuning. This was before we ran into the connection-ish. This is my headstock sanding transition sanding jig. So the way this works is, you can see, this thing here is this fits on my rigid oscillating belt sander. But this thing fits on there. The sanding spindle goes up through there. Then you take your guitar neck and you run that sucker through there. I just added this stop block because if you sand too far, you're going to sand into where the nut's going to go, and that's bad. And I also added this port here where I can slip in. I've been experimenting down here at the end. Right now I just have a piece of wood taped on there, I'm going to add a hinged deal here with a thumb screw at the bottom where I can adjust this, and that helps to keep the neck nice and straight and square. This thing's awkward to hold like that. But that's what I'm working on right now. Before I start a next video project, I wanted to get a little bit of work done on some guitar stuff, so that's what I'm working on. Let's see. Carrie says, for a workbench, don't you want something heavy? A lot of times, yes, you do, but not always. It really depends on what your individual uses are for that workbench. If you just really need a table, to set things on and and to work off of, you might not need something super heavy. Depending on, if you want to move it around, if it's especially something that's going to live outside, like Kathleen's working on, you might want to move that around. So you might, I don't know. It just depends on your personal use. I have a table workbench outside. It's not a homemade one. It's a commercially available, but it's all steel, and it's really heavy. It doesn't move. I don't ever move it around, but I can definitely see where if you had some kind of a lighter table of some sort, workbench, whatever you want to call it, where it would be handy. You could move things around. I would think that it just depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to have it in a fixed location inside your workshop, then you might not want a lightweight one. You might want a super heavy one if it's something you never want to move. Yes, a heavy one would make sense. But for me, if I have something in here, there are very few things that sit on the floor that I don't move around, scoot them one way or another. And I wouldn't want something super heavy because I don't have a lot of room in my space. So I need to be able to move things around, even if it's just a little bit to get an extra inch here or there. But man, everybody's different. Your needs, your requirements for what you're working on are going to be different for everybody. And one person, maybe someone that does a lot of hand tool woodworking, where you're planing and you're sawing and chopping and chiseling, you want something nice and sturdy, where it's not going to move. Because if you're trying to run a hand plane and your stuff is flying all over the place, well, that's going to be kind of inconvenient, right? But however, if you really are just kind of putting some stuff together, like I'm working on this sanding jig, and I don't need a big heavy workbench for that. So it just depends. Everybody's different. And if you need a heavy one, not everybody has the same requirements. Carrie says, you froze up real good this time. Dang it, really? I don't know why. It didn't on this end. So I'm hoping it was your end. Because it didn't here, but that doesn't mean anything. Gina says something like the grill table. Yeah, so what Gina's talking about is a couple weeks ago, was it maybe a month? I built a top for an old barbecue grill that sits on top of the old frame. So basically turned it into a grill table, and it's really lightweight. It's made out of reclaimed cedar fencing, so it really it doesn't hardly weigh anything. But it's not a super heavy duty. I've used food or whatever you're working on, but it is not. It's really easy to move around, and it works awesome that you can move it around and use it for different things. It's not a super heavy table. If you haven't seen that, go back on my channel, and I want to say it was 3 weeks ago, something like that. You'll see it. It's not that far back. It's within the last month or so, and yeah, you can check it out. But just a really simple utilitarian tabletop. Nothing super heavy duty or anything. Just sitting on a tube grill frame. So it actually works out really awesome. I really like it. Poor Conservative says, you're a big John Deere fan, aren't you? No. What would tell you that? Yes. So that comes from growing up, working on the farm. That's all we drove. They were all green. My grandpa always had the old Fords and the old Farmall, old school. But when I was working on the farm, it was all John Deere. and still is all John Deere. So yeah, that it runs deep, buddy. Yeah, LMFAO. Oh, I should have brought my John Deere coffee mug. All right. Yeah, I like green tractors. Not sponsored. I should do that. Hashtag not sponsored. That'd be cool. Sponsored by John Deere. Poor Conservative says, yeah, we had a lot of John Deere and Massey Fergusons. Yeah, Massey's. I haven't spent a whole lot of spent a whole lot of time with the Masseys, but I had some friends who ran them at their farm, and yeah, yep. Mine growing up was the old like early growing up. My grandpa had the Ford, you know, the 8Ns, the 9Ns, those little dudes. Those things are pretty fun. We had one at the farm too, but we only used it for one particular task. The rest of them were green. My coffee's getting cold. I gotta finish it. Ugh, cold coffee. It's terrible. Terrible. So I want to say, for any of you guys who maybe were looking forward to tuning in last week, I want to apologize. I was unable to do the Facebook live stream last week. I had a school function that I was helping out with my daughter's school, and was unable to do the live stream, and so I was going to try to reschedule and work out. So then it got to be into the weekend and into early this week, and I said, you know what, we'll just stick with today's YouTube stream. So sorry about that, guys, if you were looking forward to it, and thanks for tuning in today. Next week we'll be back on Facebook next Wednesday, and then YouTube. You know, you guys know, alternate, swap weeks. So I want to catch up with everybody on both platforms. So, more conservative, winter wheat and alfalfa. Yeah, alfalfa. I have raked, baled a lot of alfalfa. I don't think we did much with winter wheat. I'm trying to remember. We may have done a little bit, but most of the time we didn't have anything going over the winter. Poor Conservative says you need a bigger insulated mug. I have one. I just don't use it all the time. I've noticed, and this is going to be weird, but I've noticed when I use I have a big thermos insulated, I have a big giant thermos that holds like a whole pot of coffee, and I also have a travel mug, which I really, really like. It's just Stanley, one of them green Stanleys. It works awesome. I don't drink as much coffee when I use that. Can you believe that? What's up with that? When I fill that up, I'll sip on it for a while, and then next thing I know, it's 10 o'clock, and I've only had one. Sometimes I like to bring this out because it feels more, I don't know, feels more comfortable sipping on a cup of coffee, chatting with you guys. More personal, that's it, than, sitting here with a travel mug. I don't know why. Does that make any sense? All right, that's gone. Gina says I've given up on that idea for him, poor conservative. Yes. Well, I already have one. I don't need another one. Estelan! Fear of the Dark on ukulele is a lot of fun. Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that. That's one thing I don't know how to play. I do not know how to play the ukulele. My daughter has one, and I'm like a fish out of water on that thing. I don't know what to do. I really just need to spend some time learn a couple of the chords, because it doesn't seem all that tricky, but at least just to do the chords. But I just need to spend some time doing it. Poor Conservative says, weird. I drink more. Estelon says, in guitar, it's easy. I mean, I can't really play anything. Oh, come on. I don't believe that. Still need a lot of practice. Um, yeah, no, everybody does. I feel like I can play decently, but I'm no pro by any means. I mean, I still need a lot of practice too. So I think that goes for anything. I need a lot of practice building things. I need a lot of practice playing guitar. I need a lot of practice anything, anything. You got to do it. You got to do it every day almost. I mean, if you want to get better at something, you got to keep doing it. That's something that when I was growing up, I took piano lessons and I had to do lessons for, 30 minutes a day. Some days you don't want to do it. Some days, it's a piece of cake, but you just keep doing it. And it's like anything else out here in the shop. I've said it before. I think you should make something every single day. I don't care if it's just a little thing. I mean, this morning I made this adjustable stop block, and I made this little knob that goes in here. I mean, that's nothing fancy, but I try to make something every day. It can be super simple, but after a while of making a ton of little things, you start to every little thing you make, you there's a little something that you tuck away, or every time you practice piano or guitar or whatever it is, there's a little something that gets tucked away. Maybe as you're making a chord for a guitar, that one time you make a C chord, your brain finally remembers, okay, that's where this finger needs to go here every single time, and it all starts to click. But you have to do it. You got to practice, no matter what it is you're trying to do. Carrie says, "Use it or lose it." Yes, that's right. I took piano lessons for a lot of years, and I mean, I wasn't a virtuoso or anything like that, but as much as I had a hard time sitting down and practicing it every day, I feel like I did decent at it. And started to get into a lot of the more technical, not super technical, but I mean, I feel like I was doing pretty good. Of course, I was 12 or 14 at the time, so I may be remembering a little bit different, but I could play some pretty technical stuff for that time for me. That doesn't make any sense. I'm just rambling right there, but I progressed quite a ways. Now I sit down at the piano with that exact same music, and I'm like, I gotta like fumble through it, and I can't even get through the whole song without. Even though there was some that I could just almost do from memory, but now I can't because I haven't done it in a long time. We have a piano. It was my intention to get into that again and start practicing, but I haven't. And like you said, use it or lose it. But guitar, I can sit down and play guitar because I do that a lot. So there are a lot of things that I do recall from playing piano, like reading music and that sort of thing, but actually matching your fingers to the notes as you go along, if you don't do it, you're going to lose it. It's not exactly like riding a bike, playing an instrument. Poor Conservative says, violin and cello lessons growing up here. Oh, cool. I've never got into the string instruments. I don't know why. Well, the bow instruments. There it is. Carrie says muscle memory. Yeah, it is. It's all muscle memory, and I think that building things, making things, is kind of the same thing. So when you first start out, you're making like really simple. A lot of us anyway. Myself, I know when I started out, my projects were a lot simpler, and I still don't get super carried away with some projects, but as we progress, you build more skills and you learn how to do this or that you didn't have that knowledge at the beginning. And as you make things, even if it's the smallest, a little stop block for a sanding jig, you learn. There are techniques that I used to make this that several years ago, I wouldn't have a clue. I'd be like, I don't really know how to do that. But as you do more and more things, you're able to tuck all these little nuggets knowledge nuggets away in your brain, and you can start recalling on them for different projects. But it takes making things to get all those knowledge nuggets. There's a visual for you. Poor Conservative says piano is. Have you practiced it and do it? Yeah, it's not. It's not too bad, really. You got to spend a lot of time. It's like anything, I think. The more time you spend doing it, the easier it is. But to just sit down after not doing it, yeah, it's pretty hard. Rick, what's up, buddy? How the heck you doing? Wanted to come by and say hello. Man, I am glad you were able to stop in. How are you doing there? Things going well, I hope. Not much, not much. Cool, cool, cool. Hope you're staying warm. Just having coffee. I just finished mine. I only brought the little cup out today. We were talking about that a few minutes ago. I need a big one. I do have a large cup, but I only brought the one because it feels more like we're hanging out on the couch when I have this little cup. Or, not on the couch, sitting around the house and sipping a cup of coffee. I mean, who just hangs out in their house with a travel mug with their buddies? I guess maybe somebody. I don't know. Please strike that from the record. That was just ridiculous. Anyway. Oh, boy. Pork and service. Me. Nothing wrong with that, my friend. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Sometimes I just go on a ramble and probably sound like a bonehead sometimes, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay. We're like friends, right? I use travel mug all the time so I don't spill it. That's probably a good idea. Actually, probably a lot more of us use travel mugs than I'm probably the one who doesn't. Maybe I should just start using it more. Oh man, let me look here. What else we got going on? Did I talk about a while back, guys, a time lapse and the tabletop that I'm working on? Did I ever mention that? Let me know. Harry Dude says, can't remember the last time I had coffee. I think I'm in the minority. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know a few people that just don't drink coffee. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, to me, I think it's kind of weird. But no, it's like it's like a lot of people. Like I don't drink soda. I mean, maybe that's weird. Twice a year? I don't know about that. I don't drink soda. I drink coffee and water, and that's about it. For the most part. Let's see. Pork Conservative says when you care for a handicapped parent, you're kind of stuck. With the travel mug? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what we're talking? Nothing wrong with that. Caring for a handicapped parent, man. I got props for that, buddy. Carrie says, I like how you have your drills hung up. Oh, thanks. This guy back here. I actually need to make a new one. It's probably been a couple years since I changed out these to switch to these drills, and I need to make a new thing here because I want to make it fit a little bit better. The charger up on the top, I can't get the batteries in there because it's so it needs to be taller. So I might have to redo that. It might be a project at some point. Well, at some point it will be a project. I just don't know when. Redo that, and I want to have storage in there for. I want to be able to put the sander up there, as well as access the charger, get the batteries in there. I just kind of redo that. I'll be doing that at some point. But yes, something like that really helps a lot because you have a place to put it. Tito says, I'm building a flying V base in my kitchen because of your channel. My wife is a little mad. Peace. I'm sorry about that. But that you're building it. That's props. That is awesome. So I don't know what to tell you about your wife being mad at you for it, but you know, just don't leave sawdust all over. That's awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks for telling me that. That's really cool. Poor conservatives probably drinks too many chubs of Vic. Vic? No, don't drink beer either. Yep, I'm weird. Poor conservative and hairy dude. It's not weird. I mean, no, it's not weird. You do you, brother. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And anybody, really. Don't let anybody tell you one way or another how you should do your thing. I might think it's weird if you don't drink coffee, but you guys think I'm weird because I'm left-handed. So let's see. Poor conservator says, go French cleats and open the space up. I might have to look at that. As I've thought about that too. That's part of the reason why I haven't built this yet, honestly. I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. I like to be able to just grab these and pull them out. I like that. But as far as the charger, I guess I could make a box, a kind of a box like that. That would hang on French. I don't know. I'm still thinking. I've been thinking for like 2 years. Carrie says I screwed the charger to the back. Oh wait, hold on here. Hold on. I'm skipping some comments here. Rick says, are you going to do any more guitar builds? Rick, I'm working on one today. Finally, back to this one. Back to this neck. So that I can get the next one I have in process done. Yes, I'm going to be doing some more guitars. I know they've been a little bit pushed aside kind of lately. Just been trying to get some other things done, and I am now back to guitars. I hope to have this neck ready to go in the next couple of days. I might get to the frets today, and then on to the shaping and sanding and all that stuff. We'll see how that goes, but that's what I'm working on. I'm going to be doing a video on how I do fret installs, so I'm trying to get this to a point where I can install the frets. I like to show the processes that I use from time to time because they do change, and I want to show my current method for installing frets. Really not super hard, I don't think, but I want to do a short video on that, and so I can add it to my guitar building playlist, and you guys can see kind of how I do that. Carrie says I screwed the charger to the back of the cabinet. I thought I can't, the very back, I can't get to mine because the battery goes in from the side. So I'd have to, if I lay the battery down, I could put it in this way and I would actually screw it to the bottom. And that might be an option, but I need to make the space sized to fit everything else that I want to be able to put in that cabinet. Tito says, cheers. Down, Tito. Pork and Server says, V's must be the thing this winter. Doing one for a guy in Germany. Oh, really? That's cool. And Pork and Server says, left-handed is backwards. Not weird. Well, you are one of the few that say that. A lot of the people that, well, bandmates and other people say it's weird. Rick says, cool. On the guitar process, anyway. Tito says, can you recommend an alternative fret material? An alternative to what? I just use a standard, what is it, nickel, whatever, fret. You could use stainless steel fret. Well, hold on, let's back up. Are you talking about a commercially available fret wire? Or something that you could use to make your own? Because I can't get it out of there. Just standard fret wire. But as far as fret wire goes, there's a lot of different kinds. Tito says to fret wire, like another piece of something. I'm thinking. I mean, I've seen. It depends on what you're building. I mean, in the look you're going for. I've seen some like cigar box guitars, more of a. I'm hesitant to say rustic, but I've seen nails used. I don't know how you'd hold them in place. Maybe you could route a groove and epoxy them in. Of course, I mean, fretless. You could always do fretless. I don't know. I'm trying to think of what I could recommend other than fret wire for, what did you say? Did you say full scale bass? I can't think of anything. I don't know. Yeah, let's see here. Harry Dude's, hold on here. I'm catching up. There was a bunch of comments there. I got lost. I'm going to come back to a couple. I think I skipped. Harry Dude says, would hate to try and shape the tang on fret wire. Yes, that's where I'm kind of hesitant to recommend something. Then again, you could fret the surface. Can't remember the brand of guitars that did it. Right on the top. Interesting. I don't know, man. Honestly, I really don't. I mean, there are a lot of different fret wire materials. You might look at that. But I'm not saying that I'm trying to think of how what would you gain by using something different? I'm trying to grasp that whole thing because it's not something I've ever really thought about. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just trying to think what would be the advantage of using something non-traditional. Tito says, thanks everyone, I just do not have access to fret wire. Ah, okay. That makes more sense. If you can't get it. Purely economic. Okay. I'm with you there, buddy. I'm with you. You stumped me. Trying to think about that one. Huh. Anybody can think of anything, leave a comment down there for Tito, because that's an interesting one. Okay, let me scroll back up here. I saw a couple comments that I missed. I don't have to do that too. Poor Conservative said 14 years and 2 miles changes your perspective of lefties. Carrie says, I'm a lefty, and the world is not made for us. No, it is not, my friend. It is not. Let's come back down. We're catching up. Harry Dude says, steel rods glued into a half-round channel. That's what that was my thought, with a nail. Use a little ball end, like on a router bit or a Dremel or something. Little half-round groove, glue, epoxy in some nails. Hey, I could see it be done. Anyway, that's a tough one. Tito, I gotta think about that one. That's the only thing I can think of right now is nails. I would think you could still use the small one. Where are those? Probably wouldn't hold up very well. All these are galvanized. I wouldn't recommend them, but I could see that. To experiment with that a little bit. Maybe not a galvanized nail. This is an inch and a half. This is a 4-penny. Maybe if you went with like a 2-inch, non-galvanized. Cut you a little groove. You could even do that with a hand chisel, really. I mean, if you had a carving. Let's see. Pork Conservative says those are bar frets. Oh, okay. Tito says reconnect. Hang in there, guys. Sorry about that. Are we back? I think we're back. All signs say we're back. Let me know if we're not back. Cool. Well, Tito, I don't. Hopefully, you got some ideas. I hope that just brainstorm. I like to be able to just brainstorm like that. It's cool. We can all brainstorm around the world on a project together. Wags is here. Ugh, I'm late today. Hey now, what's up, Wags? Where have you been? We're waiting for you. It's okay. It's okay. You can be late because I didn't even show up last week on Facebook. I had a prior engagement that I had to do and was unable to do it. So I'm glad you made it back. Harry Dude says, have a look at Parker Fly guitars. I believe stainless steel frets with no tang glued onto the fretboard. Huh. I have what is that one that I have in there? Is that a Parker? It is a Parker. I have an old junker Parker that the headstock's been broken off and it's a heap. I'm gonna have to take a look at that and see if that one is like that. I forget what it is. It's not a Fly. It's a Parker something. I don't know. It's a weird one. Poor Conservative says Circle of Death, and he's back. Boom, boom, boom. Facebook is evil. That's I know some people don't use it. Some people do. I'm on there. If you guys want to connect on Facebook, you look me up, Home Build Workshop. And but yeah, I mean, for right now, I'm going to continue doing the live stream every other week, like we've been doing. Like I say every time. This week YouTube, next week Facebook, and so on and so on. I get to connect with different people, and it's kind of cool to yeah. I don't know what. I lost my train of thought. Anyway. Yeah, notifications. I thought I turned off notifications, but I keep seeing notifications coming in. Oh no, we're freezing again. Man, what's going on? Because we're about, it seems like an hour, it starts to freeze up. Poor Conservative says they banned me 2 years ago along with Twitter. Oh yeah, I know quite a few people that have had the old Facebook ban. Fighting Bear, thoughts on Charlie Kirk's face getting bigger every time he lies? You lost me, dude. I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, we're about an hour in, guys. You guys got anything else you wanna talk about? We can probably think about wrapping this up. About an hour, unless you guys want to hang some more. I'm out of coffee though. It's unfortunate. Probably should get back to work on this guitar neck, though. Get that thing done. Poor conservative LMFAO fighting bear. Dude, I don't know what is that? What I miss? Was that a movie thing or what? Because that's, I don't know. Clue me in. Somebody help me. XK Tree 72. Thank you, Jeff. Always fun hanging with you. And thank you. Thanks for hanging out with us, with me. I appreciate it. And I think with that being said, we will wrap up. We'll wrap up this live stream. Oh wait, Fighting Bear. Seriously though, what tools do you suggest for carving a bass neck? I can answer that one for you. There's a couple that I'm going to say you should really consider. Number one, Shinto saw rasp. This thing is awesome. If you're gonna carve by hand, I definitely recommend rasp. I believe if you go to my website homebuiltworkshop.com and you click on at the top, I believe the link is tools I use or tools. I believe I have a Shinto. Those are affiliate links in there. I have a link in there to these. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I also use like a just gnarly and a couple smaller round, fairly coarse. They're not super coarse, but I mean they're your most of your work with those. So hopefully that helps. Fighting Bear. Okay. I don't know who that is. Poor conservative. Yep, Jeff. I would buy you a Coke if I'm ever in Falcon. If you're ever Falcon, you better send me a message. Send me a message if you're ever coming through, and we will definitely catch up for sure. Carrie says goodbye and thanks. Thanks, Carrie. Thanks for hanging out. Poor conservative says microplanes. I don't have any microplanes. I do have a little set of scrapers, card scrapers. They work pretty good for fine tuning things. Another tool, that's what I meant to find. It's just not in this drawer. Put these away. Another one that I really like a lot is where'd you go? There you are. Hey there, old friend. Spoke shave. I've got a few different spoke shaves. Check out this one. This one's an oldie. I haven't used this one much. I picked this one up over the summer. I have a draw knife that if you need to hog off a ton, I would use this, but sometimes it wants to tear a little too deep. So spoke shave is a good tool as well. Anyway, poor conservative says maybe through on the way to NAM. Oh, you're going to NAM. Nice. When is NAM? Was that January or February? If you are, I'm serious. You're coming through. Send me a message. Poor conservative. Yeah. What is it? Yes. Stanley spoke shaves. Yeah, I love those old Stanleys. I got a couple old ones, and then that other wooden one. I don't know what brand or anything it is, but it's pretty cool. Every year since '88. Poor conservative. No, man, I've never been to NAM. I want to go to NAM. Huh? Yeah, come through. Let me know. I gotta look into that. Just to go to NAM. That'd be fun. An experience, I would imagine. So, let me know if you need a NAM. You need someone to hide out in a suitcase and travel to NAM with you. Cool, guys. Let's wrap this up. And like always, thanks a lot for jumping in and hanging out with me, drinking some coffee together, sitting around by the fire. You can sort of pack your walking legs. I got him, buddy. I got him. Right on, guys. Thanks a lot for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And if you want to, don't forget next week I'll be on Facebook. Don't want to, that's totally cool. We will be back on YouTube in 2 weeks. What's that? The week of Thanksgiving, I think. Is that in 2 weeks? Man, happy Thanksgiving to those of you that are. Well, it's gonna be on Wednesday. So, anyway, guys, thanks a lot for hanging out. It's been awesome as always. If for some reason you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you as a subscriber if you're not already. Thank you to those of you who are already subscribed, which I think is everyone anyway. But hey, you never know. So, thanks a lot, guys. We will see you next time.